Hi everyone, so today I want to show you how to make this winged bendy card. Now I got this idea, I saw obviously bendy cards have been around for a long time, and I saw Mixed Up Crafts had done the one just with the extra bits on the side, and so because I just bought these papers, if you don't want waffle please just skip forward, but I just bought these papers from Amazon, the Paper Boutique, and I got the Blooming Beautiful range, and I think these are new, the embellishment pad and also the papers, because they're just gorgeous. I mean, look at that, they're just gorgeous. So I'm just going to quickly just show you the papers. So you've got this lovely kind of navy blue floral, you've got a gorgeous teal, I love teal, so gorgeous teal colour, then we've got the nice, I like playing in amongst the patterns, so you got a lovely beautiful gorgeous baby pink stripe, a nice plain white with florals, a blue polka dot, a pink with florals, and then back to the blue again. So that's the paper pad, and obviously it just repeats as you go through. So you get 160 GSM, you get 36 sheets, and there's 6 designs. So I bought this with my own money because I just really wanted something new, and I really love these colours. I love blue, pink, teal, just gorgeous. And then the embellishment pad, again 36 sheets, 6 designs, 160 GSM, and in these you get, let me start from the beginning bit, so you get a sheet of sentiments that you can just cut up, and I really like these sentiments because they're really useful ones. So you've got birthdays and all sorts, and also you've got the mum, niece, granddad, nan, sister, mother, brother, dad, son, granddaughter, daughter, and auntie. And then you've got a sheet of these toppers, which are all 4x4, which are beautiful, really beautiful. Then a sheet of strips, which we're actually going to be using today, and I really like those as well. Another sheet of like toppers, you've got this, which is what I used on the front there as my bendy part, and then these, all these little toppers, more sentiments. Another sheet of different toppers, these are 4x4 again, but these are slightly different to the last sheet. And then another sheet again with more sentiments on. So, and then it just repeats. Beautiful. So I shall put a link in the description below for you. It doesn't cost you anything if you click on the link. It just means that I might get like a penny if you click on buy. Do you know what I mean? I don't earn much from it, but if you can support me with that tiny bit, it all adds up. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be using today. So there's different ways you can do this card. So with this one, I did it so that I had a strip of card across the front, and then I did a small birthday wishes in the back. I feel like it needs something else. I feel like it needs a floral bouquet in there somewhere, so I may well add some more to it, possibly. But anyway, that's and it stands up nicely. On the back, I've just stamped a little panel on one side, and then we've got another floral panel on the other side. And then it fits in an envelope for a 5x7 card. So all you do is you fold the flaps back and then fold it flat like that, and that's 5x7. Okay, so it fits nicely into a 5x7. So that being said, waffle over. Those of you who don't know waffle, you can turn back on again. So now I'm going to show you what you need. So for this card, you're going to need a few bits. Now I'm going to do a slightly different version with this one. I'm going to do one with acetate across the front, and then like a top at the back, because I quite like that idea, and I've got another idea for another version of this, so that will be coming soon to a Iced Images YouTube channel near you. So what you need for this is you need to, the other thing as well is that on this one that I'm doing today, I've increased the wing size, so this is actually going to be 1.5 inches wide instead of 1 inch, because I felt like it needed a little bit more. So that being said, you're going to need a base card that is 5 inches by 10 inches. Then you're also going to need, I'm going to go through all the pieces you need first, and then we'll score. And then you also need 4 mat cards that are 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and you need 3 patterned pieces which are 3 inches by 4.5. Okay, so you need 4 mats, but you only need 3 patterns, because then you need another plain piece, or white, which is what I used on the other one, which is where you're going to write your sentiment, your message. So that needs to be the same size as your pattern pieces. Okay, so that needs to be 3 inches by 4.5. Okay, so that's for the main two and the back two. Then for the wings, you need 2 pieces of mat card, which is 1 1/4 by 4 3/4, and 2 pieces of pattern, which is 1 inch by 4.5. Okay, so that's that. Then you're going to need some kind of greeting. And if you're doing the acetate one that I've done today, I'm doing now in the class, in the tutorial, then you're going to need a topper of some description. This is 4 by 4. And so what I would say you need to do is whatever your topper is, or your sentiment, or whatever it is, you need another piece of card to go behind it that is literally like an inch bigger, like inch wider. Now, as you can see, mine's not tall. It's not as tall as the topper, but to be honest, that doesn't really matter. As long as it's an inch wider, that's all you need, because you need little 1/2 inch tabs either side. So if you look at this one, on this birthday wishes, I actually used a piece of the pattern paper. I'm hoping you can see that there. So you can see just there, I actually used a piece of this pattern paper because it's single-sided, and just used that as my tab because it had a little offcut. And then that means that you can't really, I mean, you can see it, but it's not as obvious, it doesn't stand out to you as much. And I literally cut it just like, you know, an inch wider than this, and then just stuck it on the back and scored it. And the same with this one. Well, actually, this was actually 8 inches wide, and I didn't need it to be 8 inches wide. So the remainder, I just scored the actual band, and then that became my tabs. So anyway, let's keep going. So then you'll also need, if you're doing the acetate version, you'll also need a piece of acetate. Now this has still got its protective film on it, which is why it looks a bit cloudy. You need a piece of acetate which is 5 inches by 8 inches. I think that's everything covered. So now we're going to go ahead and score our base card and also the piece that is going to go behind my topper. Starting with the base card, you're going to score this at 1.5 along the long edge, at 5, and at 8.5. Okay, so that's your base card scored. And then my topper, as I said, I just made this an inch wider, so I just need to score it at 1/2 inch on this side and at 1/2 inch on that side. Okay, so I've got 1/2 inch either side, and then if I bring my little topper back in, if I stick that over the top, as you can see, it's now the same width in the middle. So they're just little flaps. Okay, so on your base card, your 2 outside folds are going to be mounting folds. Like that, and then your inside needs to be a valley. Now this card that I'm using is from Paper Mill Direct, and it's called Vineo Sirio 290 GSM. It is a bit thick. 290 is a bit thick. I mean, it makes it nice and sturdy, but you just need to make sure with your layers, and I'm using 160, so I could run into problems later. You don't want it too thick, but anyway, it should be fine. We will see as we go along. So that's that. And then my piece that my topper is going to go on, again, I'm just going to fold those back. I'm just folding them both ways just because I just want to, because it's such a thick card, I just want to make sure that it's, you know, it really does do what it's told. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stick, I'm going to go ahead and stick this topper onto there, and then I'm going to stick all of my mat and pattern layers together. So all my pattern layers onto my mat for all of my pieces. Okay, so I've stuck all the pattern layers onto the matte layers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and on this plain piece, which will be where my message is, I'm just going to stamp a happy birthday on, because if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now quickly. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and stamped my plain piece. Okay, so I've stuck all my pattern and mats together. So now what we're going to do is going to bring the acetate in, and I'm going to bring my scoreboard in, and we're just going to score it 1/2 inch either end. 1/2 inch there, 1/2 inch there, like that. Okay, you probably can't see it. I'm going to just do it a bit more, a bit stronger, because I really do want that scored. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and fold along that score line. Now I always find folding acetate is a little bit tricky. So we've got that there. And the same on this side. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add some red tape to the outside of our tabs. Okay, so as you can see, I've added the red tape to the outside tabs. Now, what we're going to do next, see, now it's a bit tricky because we're using acetate on the front. You really want to stick your acetate down first and then stick your pattern panels over the top so you cover up that tab. However, that does also then mean that when you're sticking your pattern panels in, you're having to stick it in through the top. Whereas with this one, it's not so bad because you've got quite a lot of room to get at it to work. But that's just part of using acetate. That's just how it is. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick one side down first. So we're going to stick this side down first. So I'm just going to peel the backing off. Oops, which is easier said than done. Peel the backing off. Just going to stick that down, making sure it's nice and level. Okay, so I've stuck one side down, but I'm not going to stick the other side down just yet. I'm just going to open this up and I'm going to take one of my pattern pieces and I'm going to go ahead and stick that down inside like that. And then I'm going to stick half of this down, and then at least I've only got half to stick rather than both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down now. So I've stuck that one down. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this in and we're going to find out where halfway is across there. Now thankfully this topper is 4 inches wide, which means trying to find halfway is nice and easy. It's 2 inches. So we're just going to lay that on. And I'm just going to make a little mark at the top, just literally a little mark, just so I can see it. I could do the bottom as well, but I'm not going to. I'm going to rely on my sense of being able to know, you know, where's level. And then what we want to do is we're going to put red tape on both of these tabs. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to peel off. I'm not sure which way around it needs to go. That way around? Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so I'm going to peel off this tab here. So obviously my mark is now at the bottom, not at the top, because I've just turned it round. And then where my halfway mark is, which I can just about see, I'm going to line that up with the halfway score line on the card. And then I'm just going to stick that down with the tab folding under. And again, I need to make sure it's nice and central, nice and straight, about there, I think. Right, so I think it's going to be about there. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're now going to put this across like this, stick this side down, then stick the pattern in, and then stick this in. Now this is going to get fiddly, But the problem is, because you want to stick this down first so you can stick the pattern on the top, it has to be like this. So we're going to do this first, like that. And then if we just open it up a little bit. Okay, so you might discover at this point, like I just did, that obviously this doesn't want to do anything, but that's because this needs to be bent. So I should have, before I put it in, just done a little bit of bending on it. Just kind of coaxed it to make it bend. And I should have done that before I stuck the acetate down. So just bear that in mind. Don't do what I just did. So I'm just going to very gently kind of massage it. I don't want to crease it, I just want to massage it so that it bends like that. And then that will bend up when it's, in fact we can give it a bit more of a squish when we get it into place. So next we're going to take another pattern piece and we're going to do the same again. So we're going to add the pattern piece in. So I'm just putting, you're probably noticing I've put a piece of double-sided tape and then I'm yoo-hooing the rest. The reason why I'm doing that is because if I put yoo-hoo on the acetate, it may well melt it, and I don't want to melt or dissolve my acetate, but I do want a kind of a bit of wiggle room. So I'm just putting a bit of double-sided on first, so that's the bit that's going to go on the acetate, and then the yoo-hoo is going to go, so my double-sided tape's here where that is, and my yoo-hoo is the rest of it. And I'm just going to bring this in like this, and we are going to stick that down as well as we can with it being inside acetate. There we go, I think there's a good place. Okay, so that's that. And then we're going to take the backing off of this tab. And as I said, it's a bit awkward because you're doing it inside the acetate, but just be patient with it. We stick the whole thing flat and stick that down, and then what you can do now is just coax it, and so this is then going to help you bend it. But if you've bent it a little bit before you stick it, that does help as well. So I'm just going to stick that like that. Okay, so then you end up with that. So now we just need to decorate our wings and then add our sentiment. So we're going to go ahead, first of all, before we do the wings, we're going to go ahead and stick these on the back, just because you may as well. So I'm going to put that on that side, and that's going to go on that side. Okay, so I've stuck those down, the pattern and the sentiment piece, and we're going to turn it over, and then on this side here, as I said, we're going to stick down the two pattern pieces that go on the wings. So we're now going to go ahead and stick a greeting on the front. I'm going to use a peel-off greeting. A little tip for you: if you get a piece of card that's, you know, just an offcut is fine, and just stick it underneath like this, and then take it up to where you want your greeting to be. And then what you can do is you can use that as your line, because I know it's quite hard to find. It's quite hard to get your sentiment straight. So, for example, if I want my birthday to be about that, I'm just going to base all of my letters onto that line. And you can also even, and I'm going to do that now actually, just draw a little halfway dot so you know where halfway is. So this is just under 7 inches, so halfway is there, so I know that's halfway. So I'm just going to put it back in again, and if I just find out where halfway is here, 2.5 is about the bottom of that blue rose. So let's just pop this in here like this, and I'm going to put it about, yeah, I'm going to put it about there like that, and then I can go ahead now and stick down my happy birthday. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added the happy birthday on the front. I have got a bit of a big gap between the happy and the birthday, but that's just one of those things that happens. You know what it's like when you're trying to space it out. But it is straight, so that's something. I do find with acetate it does attract every single piece of dust and dirt and fluff and everything. So that's all being attracted right now, which is annoying. But anyway, there we go. So I quite like it. It's quite nice. As I said, it folds flat. So when you put it in the envelope, you just fold the wings back like that and fold it flat. And then that fits in an envelope for 5x7. Okay, and then the recipient just gets it out, gives it a little bit of a squish, and it stands up nice and straight like that, and you have your happy birthday. If you wanted to, you could go ahead and punch these edges, do border punches on the edges or die cut edges. If you wanted to, you could do whatever you want, really, to be honest with you. You could all sorts. You could do a piece of card across the front with an aperture cut out, so you've almost got like a scene card. Yeah, there's all sorts you can do. Oh, but while I'm thinking about it as well, this pattern paper on the back was part of that craft sensation pad that I bought the other day. This design pad, mix and match, and it was this I think it was this one, but the foiled version, or this one. Anyway, there was one that it was from there anyway. So that's where it came from. Yeah, it's one of these. And so I just thought it's quite nice having the little spots on it. So I hope you liked today's card. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment below, and we will see you next time. Bye!